buddy, I'm going to slump real quick. Just keep it simple. See ball, hit ball, man. This is as easy as you can make it.
And way easier said than done. I'm not sitting here saying it's easy, but we can't alibi it either. We got to figure out a way to continue to take those good at bats, and sometimes we still do that, and you don't get rewarded. And a couple of times that happened in this series too. So it's a combination of things.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. Happy Monday or miserable Monday, depending on your perspective. I'm Marty Caswell. That's Jake Garegnani of local CBS 8. We are brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. Do not adjust your screens. That was not Mike Schultz from yesterday. Okay, that was the camouflage, right? He's talking about we're not going to alibi it, the good at bats, Manny Machado, see ball, hit ball. That was from a previous time of the 2025 Padres season when they were struggling, but I brought it back because we're probably facing some of the same issues. I'm glad to have Jake Garegnani here because I was at miserable Dodger Stadium on Friday night. He was there for like one of the worst games of the season on Saturday when Dylan Cease just struggled. But as usual, we came away from this series with different perspectives. Jake Garegnani, right now, because you are the shining light of optimism. Remove the name Ramon Laureano from this discussion. Give me something positive that you took away from the Padres this past weekend.
No, nothing. I don't want to say that there is anything positive to take away from the past weekend. The parade is off. The season is over. Let's go ahead and forfeit the final 38, 39 games. No run in October. Let's punt on the season. It's done. It's a wrap. Look, everything about that Dodgers series was deflating as it could be. It was absolutely humbling and upsetting. I don't think there's any positives to take away from it. With that being said, I think my argument, Mr. Positive, is that there is still an entire scope of the season you have to take into perspective when you talk about the San Diego Padres. I'm not going to sit here and try and make any, positive situation out of what happened this past weekend at Chavez Ravine because it was awful. But that being said, again, there is a whole season of work that they have put in, and they put themselves still in a good position. And there are still a good chunk of games left, including 3 against the Dodgers that hopefully they play a hell of a lot better in because that was just awful baseball up there for 3 days. And, yeah, sure, they showed a little bit of fight in game 1 and 3, but it doesn't really matter, does it?
And it doesn't matter. And I'm just like, if you look at the numbers, man, it's shocking to me. It's aggravating. And if the Padres, maybe they'll come back to bite them in the ass a little bit later come this season, but it's just, how do you out hit a team? 20-16, and then you get swept in all those games. It's just different because the Padres and the Dodgers had different momentum going into the series, right? The Padres had everything working for them. They were getting Michael King back on Friday. The Dodgers had just gotten swept by their 5 freeway division rival in the Angels, and they started the series by putting Max Muncy on the IL. And I know Dave Roberts said that he might be out for an extended amount of time, and that is, to me, that's a significant. But they were able to overcome that. On Michael King. And for those of you sticking around, I will play what Michael King had to say on Friday. He really seems to think that he will be back when the 15 days is over and not much longer than that, which would line him up for the Seattle series. So he does seem optimistic, but the only thing there is you still need Michael King to go ahead and build up. You want him to get back to that level. And it's just, man, it's been tough. His bobblehead is this Wednesday, and he will not be on the active roster for that one. But you were there for Dylan Cease on Saturday. How alarming was that performance? And he had two of his best back-to-back outings post-trade deadline, and then that version Dylan Cease came out, no control.
Yeah, and that was unlike anything I've really ever seen Dylan go through. I don't think I've ever seen him struggle that bad to find the zone. And I haven't watched his entire career, but at least with the San Diego Padres, I've never seen him struggle that bad to find the zone. In fact, there was a couple times where I thought, and I don't mean this to sound negative, but I was like, is he hurt? Because it looked like he was struggling so bad out there. And it was just a complete wreck of a performance, unfortunately, for Dylan Cease. I'm sure he would say that as well. And that game literally was lost from the jump because of it. The Padres stood no chance in that second game because of the way he came out and threw the ball. Incredibly disappointing for him, and it's incredibly disappointing because of exactly what you mentioned, Marty, the fact that he had those 2 great starts. He kind of meandered his way through the season, really struggling, trying to find it, and then those last 2 starts, you go, there's Dylan Cease. All right, sweet. We've got him going into it. And then that start, just everything blew up. And I think that was the most disappointing thing about the entire series, Marty, was it's not like the Dodgers outplayed the Padres incredibly.
Right.
You mentioned the hits. It's just that the Padres played horrible baseball for 3 days. I mean, really bad baseball, something that I don't think I've seen all year from them. And it was 3 games of just not great baseball. And it was just rare. It was their worst series of the year for sure. And I understand why everyone's so upset and so disappointed. And it's okay to be that way. Totally get it. But I think keep the big picture in mind too, is all I would say.
Because it's the Dodgers. And if you're a Padres fan, and the Padres, you had everything to play for in that season, right? They all talk about this. They want the division, right? You want home field in the playoffs. They want the division. To come out like that was disappointing. And they kept Ohtani in check. And by the way, I'm getting ahead of myself because I'm not like Mike Schultz. I'm not only focused on one game at a time. Tonight, it's going to be the Giants, who the Padres just swept. It's going to be, Nestor Cortez and Robbie Ray, right? But it looks like they're going to miss Ohtani in the rotation because he goes Wednesday versus the Rockies. So I'm already looking ahead I'm looking way ahead now to when the Dodgers. By the way, this is the final homestand for the Padres in August. Where has the time gone? The final homestand, and then, man, off and running. It looks like Darvish, Cortez, and Pivetta will line up against the Dodgers this weekend, barring any shuffle in the rotation. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, Pivetta's the guy you want out there against the Dodgers, right?
I think so.
I think so. The thing about you too yesterday was I felt like he obviously had the 2 big misses, but he didn't throw the ball incredibly bad. It just felt like they never stood a chance at any point in that series. And you get so fired up when they tie the game right at 4, and then literally 1 pitch, Robert Suarez comes out and gives up the home run. And it's like all that momentum, everything we've talked about for months. They've been chasing down the Dodgers for an entire season. They catch them. They bring the 1-game advantage into Chavez Ravine, and all of it blows up in your face. I fully understand all the disappointment, especially the way you get gut punched in that final game where it's like, oh, yeah, we came back. We tied it. Here we go. We're going to salvage 1 game. We're going to get out of here. We're going to at least be tied for the West. And then Robert Suarez throws 1 pitch. Mookie Betts takes it out, and you're like, back to us being swept.
What did you think about this offense this weekend? And I'm going to go ahead and listen. You have sat through enough Mike Schultz pre-games and post-games, and you know how he gets when someone says, why don't you move so-and-so around, right? And someone's struggling, and he kind of bit my head off. He was like incredulous when I asked him about Tatis, because my whole thing to him was it was about a 2-week stretch of him struggling. It wasn't about him striking out 3 times in a game and having a big 0-for-5. It was more about the big body of work. What has surprised you about this offense and what they were not able to do and not being clutch against the Dodgers? And they had so many opportunities too. At least on Friday night, I thought they had a situation where I thought Luis Arias, I was surprised he bunted. But if I were to ask that to Mike Schultz, hey, we have Manny Machado behind him. That's the guy that you want. Unselfish baseball. What are you talking about? What did you see from the offense this weekend? I
just think the top of the lineup has been the concerning thing, right? Like it's just, you have had such a lack of production from the top of the lineup, and thank goodness for the trade deadline acquisitions, because it's been the bottom of the lineup doing all the scoring essentially for the Padres. And sure, there are outliers here and there, but it feels like the top of the lineup is really struggling, and that to me is concerning because you need your stars to produce to win baseball games. That's pretty basic and obvious. I'm not overly concerned in a sense of I think it's going to be a long-term thing because there has been positive situations from the top of the lineup throughout the year. But throughout that series, it was highly concerning to see the way the top of the lineup didn't produce, really.
The Jackson Merrill thing is going to be interesting. Now that we know that he was taken out of that game and he has an injury, and I don't know. I mean, I wasn't there at the game yesterday, and I don't think you were there either. You were there only on Saturday, correct? But the tone, I am not encouraged by the tone. I'm not sure if what sort of move will be made. The only good thing is they have better depth, right? You're not I mean, you're not going to be worrying about Tyler. Maybe they will see Tyler Wade. I don't know. Maybe he's called up as an extra bench piece, but you did add that. Maybe you'll have more playing time now for Gavin Sheets. You can move Laureano to center, and you'll get some more at bats for Sheets, and then you can have O'Hearn DHing. So the good thing is they did add some depth, but the terrible thing is this team needs Jackson Merrill. They need Jackson Merrill, and the lucky for them is they have the second, according to Major League Baseball, the second easiest schedule the rest of the season.
Yeah, the only problem is the team with the easiest schedule the rest of the season is the Los Angeles Dodgers. But with that being said, I look, I understand how deflating this weekend was. I know I mentioned all about it. Everything is still in front of the San Diego Padres in a sense of like how they want the rest of this season to finish.
Right.
I don't know if they're going to win the division or not. We'll see, obviously how the final 3 games go against the Dodgers, but they're still in a really, really good position overall. And I know people don't want to hear that today. I know I'm Mr. Positive. I get it. But seriously, like people love to react so quickly in baseball. Everyone is reactionary and not reality. The reality of the situation is they're in a really good position. Yes, this past weekend was awful, but they are set up to still do some serious damage throughout the rest of the year. And I just think they're going to be just fine. I know I get on here and I say that a lot, but I really do, Marty. I think they're going to be all right.
Do you feel any differently just because of what the Dodgers exposed? And one thing we know, here's the difference for me, Jake, okay, is the playoffs are the World Series is going to go through the Dodgers. I mean, they are. You can talk about the two teams going in different directions. I just thought these games would be a lot more competitive, right? Because they had, I think the Padres smelled blood in the water. And I think the Dodgers is too. I was talking to a member of someone from the Dodgers on Friday before the game that said, man, if we don't win 2 out of 3, we're done. We're done this weekend because the Padres are legit. They had everything clicking for them. Everything was going their way, right? You talk about how improved the catching situation was, the bottom of the order, getting healthy, getting Yu Darvish back, hopefully getting Michael King back, right? And then you have that clunker. I just wonder now, like how mental it is too now. All of a sudden, the Dodgers are in the Padres' heads. Like, is there second guessing? Do you think in that clubhouse? Like, man,
I would feel really concerned about it if it was the final series of the season between the Dodgers and Padres. The fact that they have 3 more to kind of write that mentality. Now, if the Dodgers come to Petco Park and they sweep them, that mentality is thrown out the window, right? The fact that the Padres have 3 more shots at the Dodgers, I think, is an important thing. And to get back to your point about being highly concerned about the series, yes, and the Dodgers did expose some things. I would be worried more if the Padres hadn't played such bad baseball. Like, you know what I mean? Had the Padres played their best baseball and the Dodgers just swept them, then you're like, all right, that's highly concerning. You're not going to beat them in the postseason. But the fact that the Padres played so bad for 3 days,
they did.
To me, they just were outside of their game. And so that, to me, I'm just like, okay, if they do play their best, and that there's a whole different dialogue you could go down if you say that the Dodgers forced that bad out of them. But in a nutshell, the fact that they played so bad against them, I'm not concerned that it was like, all right, your best beat our best. It was just like they didn't show up.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go ahead and read. Okay, I texted you yesterday, and this must have been after the Freeman home run. I texted you around 2:00 saying they might miss the playoffs. And of course, I was joking, and you responded. The change in thought from 2 to 3 games from everyone is so funny. And this is my point. The starting pitching is alarming. I think that comes back, though. It's more about the weird offense. For me, it's still early. It's still early on Yu Darvish. The Michael King thing to me is the difference maker, because if you're going into the playoffs and you've got Nick Pivetta, and then what do you have? Bullpen game? Is the bullpen game your best bet for the Padres at this point? Who do you trust on this pitching staff right now come playoff time? And there's a little bit of time for it to correct itself. And hopefully we're talking about Michael King making a triumphant return next week versus Seattle. But outside of Nick Pivetta, who do you trust, Jake Garegnani?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's thin, right? You don't trust Dylan Cease right now, that's for sure. And even past postseason performances have proven that. Yu Darvish is definitely a wild card in that situation. I guess the one way you could spin it is this bullpen, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think AJ Preller recognizes exactly what you said, Marty. And so the idea getting into the postseason would be to shorten those games immensely. Have your starter try and go 3 or 4 innings and get to that bullpen. Bullpen's been touched up here and there, but overall, it's the best bullpen in baseball. The thing would be trying to ride that bullpen through October. Hopefully Michael King comes back and you do have that second starter, and you got Nick and you got Michael, and then you go with you. But yeah, it's concerning for sure. I think AJ Preller recognized that, and I think that's why he went out and made the best bullpen in all of baseball in the hopes of being able to put the starting pitching at bay in October as best he could.
Take a little bit of pressure off that starting rotation.
That's the hope. I think that's the hope.
All right. My last question for you is going to be about Fernando Tatis. And I really believe this, that when the season is over, Jake, I think that Tatis is going to be the most polarizing player on this team. If you were to give Mike Schultz truth serum, would he say, you know what, this version of Tatis is exactly what we want? This is the guy. This is what Kevin Acee of the UT wrote in the Daily about his .416 on-base percentage, is second in the National League since June 29th, a span of 41 games. However, he has 2 home runs in that span, and his .413 slugging percentage is 34th out of 69 of qualifying hitters. And he goes on to talk about his plate discipline, blah, 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 and his chait race is the lowest of his season at FanFest. And I think you were there. Tatis said that when I am right, when I am healthy and I am right, I am the best player in baseball. Do you think the Padres and Tatis are this is the version they were expecting of this player?
Absolutely not, Marty. Absolutely not. I mean, there's something clearly off, I think, with Fernando. What it is, I'm not going to try and speculate, but I think anybody who's watched the Padres for the last 5 years can watch the Fernando Tatis Jr. out there on the field right now and go, something isn't quite right. I think that's blatantly obvious. Now, the big picture is this entire team doesn't slug the baseball. They get the least amount of runs out of home runs in all of baseball.
It's amazing to me. It's amazing. It really is.
And I don't know if it's a philosophical thing that the team has decided to go with. Obviously, they've won almost 70 games this season doing it, so they've been successful in a sense. But I don't think you would ever choose not to slug the baseball, right? Like, so it's very weird as an overall perspective that this team has had as much success that they've had in this day and age of baseball without hitting home runs. It's crazy. And then to get back to Fernando Tatis Jr., I just think like he's not slugging at all. The joy seems. I hate to be body language police. I really do. I'm not one of those people, but it's just clear as day that something feels off. Again, I don't want to sit here and guess why, but there's no chance if you gave Mike Schilt truth serum that this would be the version of Fernando Tatis Jr. that he would want. Everybody loves the version of Fernando Tatis Jr. where it's sexy, it's flair, it's fun, it's
energy. He
defines
energy. It's dancing. It's the swag. It's like, man,
where is it? Where is it? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe part of it is growing up too. I mean, that could be part of it. You do change a little bit, but this is a guy whose game was defied by his energy and his flash. He's irresistible to watch, and it's been different. It's been different. And I spoke to my former colleague, my friend Darren Smith, last week, and he brought up a conversation he had with with Jed Hoyer about Jason Hayward back in the day when he was struggling. And he said, this is something that we have to fix in the offseason. So maybe if you're the Padres, like, you know what, we're going to figure it out. Time will figure it out. Maybe another offseason. Maybe this is something they can take it with later. But like right now, you're hoping this version of Tatis, that he can get on base, he can do enough damage, just kind of get you there and figure it out a little bit later on. Because I don't know that those issues, that whatever's bugging him is fixable during the season. Maybe it's something they have to address in the offseason.
Yeah, it's dangerous to try and fix things during the season. It really is. You could make it even worse. He is getting on base, I guess. But it's like, if that's maturity, if this is the version of maturity, BS. Throw that out the window, man. Give me the immature Fernando Tatis Jr. Give me the flair. Give me the fun. Give me the talk and smack. It's one thing I've said a lot about the whole change in the San Diego Padres, Marty, is that I was glad when they signed the Manny Machados and the Fernandos acting the way they were, because I was so tired of watching the team get bullied on the block for a decade. And then you brought some guys in that said, we're no longer going to be bullied. We're going to tell you how it is. We're going to be the tough guys. We're going to tell you to, get out of here. And I love that. I love the fact that the Padres were no longer a stepping stone because of the way these players acted. So bring more of that back. I don't care if people say it's immature or not.
Give me some personality, baby. Let's go.
Give me some personality and give me some FU mentality. Seriously. You need it. You have to have that in Major League Baseball. I don't care if people call it immature.
Are you saying you want Tommy Pham back on this team? Is that what you're saying? Is that
Bro,
what I'm hearing
if that's
from you?
what we need, we need that attitude.
Man.
Absolutely. No.
Look
I just think the guys they have are great. The Jackson Merrills, they
look at that smile. Where's this guy been? Let's go.
That's the mentality they need. And Jackson Merrill's got a ton of it. Speaking of that picture, he's got that FU mentality. And
dude,
there's more eloquent ways to say it. I don't have the vocabulary because I'm me, but they need that FU mentality for sure, Marty.
All right, my last question to you, Jake. Because I'm talking about Truth Serum and Mike Schilt, and I'm at a point now where I've given up asking him questions because I know what's coming, and I shouldn't do that. You should ask the questions anyways. But if you were to give Mike Schilt Truth Serum for one question, what are you going to ask him?
Man, that is a great question.
That can be for your next bit for CBS when you guys have your Saturday games.
Absolutely. I think if I had more time to think about it, I could probably give you a better answer. Off the top of my head, what am I asking Mike Schilt if he had Truth Serum? Are the Dodgers in your head? That would be just off the top of my head right away. If he had to answer 100% of the truth, are the Dodgers in your head? Because the way you played for 3 games this past weekend, they sure look like it.
How much do you hate Dave Roberts? How much do you and Dave Roberts hate each other? So we can talk about the rivalry. We can talk Padres and Dodgers. Yeah. The rivalry is Schilt and Doc. They hate each other. They despise each other. That's what it is.
I thought it was interesting, Marty. You probably saw this. You were there on Friday. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you were up in the press box. They went out, exchanged lineup cards, and shook hands, which for your baseball audience is smart, but some people may not know. Managers don't do that typically. They don't go out and exchange lineup cards and shake hands. So I don't know what kind of peace offering that was, but obviously there was no flair and drama in this past series, but there didn't need to be because the Dodgers kind of just walked all over the Padres, you know?
I think Rob Manfred probably sent them an email and said, "Listen, guys, make nice. Let's go." Which
Rob Manfred doesn't want that. It's good for baseball.
I know. He wants realignment. He wants to shake things up. Hey, will you be at Petco Park later on today?
I will be there Tuesday. I am in-house
Tuesday.
Today. I'll be there Tuesday.
Very good.
And then probably some point during the Dodgers series, of course.
When's your next game for CBS?
We're off for a while. We have one more in September. It's our final one of the season. Aww. I should look it up real quick while I have you. Apologies for not knowing it right off the top of my head. We have the 27th. It'll be our last one of the season, the 27th of September. So right near the end of the year, we have Padres game. So that'll be great. And that'll be the final one on CBS. And it's been really fun, Marty. And everything we've heard is the numbers have been great. And I think people have enjoyed having it. And I know we're set up for more next year, which will be fantastic. And hopefully it continues to grow.
Hey, good for you, Jake. That's great. You can watch Jake Garegnani on local CBS 8. Don't forget on your calendar, September 27th, the last game, Padres with Jake on CBS for this season. So,
Marty, you're the sweetest as always. I can't appreciate you enough.
No, I appreciate your optimism. You're the best. You are the best. All right, my friend. I'll see you tomorrow at Petco Park, and you can ask Mike Schilt your truth serum question. I'm gonna give him some.
You bring the truth serum. I'll bring the question, baby.
All right, baby. Have a good one.
See ya. Thanks.
All right, that was Jake Garegnani from local CBS 8. All right, guys, to go ahead and finish today's conversation, I'm going to bring back a conversation with Michael King from Friday when he talked about going back on the IL. I just feel so bad for him. You could see it in his eyes, the body language, his tone, but Michael King is adamant that he will be back sooner rather than later. This is Michael King talking about going on IL with his left knee inflammation.
Feels a lot better today, but I probably just pushed a little bit too hard in the ramp up. Bothered me for the last couple weeks. Got an MRI yesterday, no structural damage, which is great, but a lot of inflammation. So got it drained yesterday, and it's been feeling better. But sad to miss these next couple starts.
Yeah, your anticipation, is there any timeline at this point when you might be able to come in?
I'm hoping that, based on how it feels today from what it was yesterday before it got drained, I'm hoping it's the minimum amount of time it can be. So yeah, I'm definitely eyeing Seattle, which I think is the first time I can come back. But obviously, it depends on how it feels the next couple days.
How's the shoulder feeling since you got a chance to get back home?
Yeah, that's been great. I think that all of our energy was focused on the shoulder, and knock on wood, that's been great. But me going across my body, a lot of stress on that left leg. So I think that the knee just took on a little bit too much. Definitely swelled up. I would say through a sim game at Petco, whenever that was. And I never felt it pitching until I threw against Boston. That was the first time I felt it pitching. It would bother me the next day and then get better over the week. And so I think that once it started bothering me while I was pitching, that's when we started to actually do some tests.
Yeah, did it actually affect your ability to execute pitches, do you think?
I don't know about that. I was happy with the velo. I definitely mechanically was a little bit off. The main thing that I noticed with it is it was tough to hyperextend my leg and how I go across my body and then get over the top of it. I wasn't able to do that in Boston, so I think that talking to Ruben, that was the main thing of like, if it's starting to affect the mechanics, we gotta address it. So very happy with how it felt after I got trained, and I haven't felt it at all today, so I'm really happy about that. But yeah, hoping that it's behind us and we're good to go soon.
You expect to go slower going into your next start? I mean, you try to get back fast, and
probably not. I mean, that's not in my nature. That's shoulder's been feeling great. So as long as we just stay up on top of the knee, I think I'll be fine. But yeah, I fully expect to ramp up as fast as I possibly can. Still.
what is that process like for the next weeks? What are you doing now? What can you do? What are you doing?
I haven't had those conversations yet. I think I'll probably, because I have 12 days, have a rehab outing at some point. And then I would eye a bullpen in the next few days. Like I said, it's been feeling great since I got trained. So I would say a bullpen in the next 3-ish days, and then a rehab game, and then go after that if all goes well.
I think we can tell just by your tone and your body language, but how disappointed are you to not be able to pitch now after the work you did to get back?
Yeah, it's also a really fun stretch right now for the Padres. So disappointed to not be a part of it, but I mean, they've been phenomenal, so I'll just continue to be a cheerleader and hope that I can produce for them when I come back.
Was there a thought that you might be able to just gut it out even a few days ago for this one?
Yeah, I think that's kind of why we waited until yesterday. My line to Schilt was, I know I could get through an outing, but I know it'll hurt every pitch. And I think that at this point in the season, we can give myself a couple starts to make sure I don't feel it for the rest of the season and throughout the playoffs. So I think that was more the idea of why we got some work done and give myself a little bit of time to heal.
Is this anything you've dealt with in the past?
No, never.
How much did it bother you in the Red Sox when you pitched against the Red Sox? I mean, did you know something? Did you know at that time that something was going on?
Yeah. I didn't know how much my mechanics were affected until I watched video on it afterwards. But I would have said it was only like a 3 out of 10 every pitch. And then the day after that, it's a good 7, 8 out of 10. So then it was definitely getting better. But the lead up, like when I pitched in Round Rock, it didn't bother me at all the day before or the day of. So I think that it was just getting progressively worse. That's why we had to address it.
Excuse me. So that was Michael King from Friday talking about his knee inflammation and he's hopeful that he'll be back sooner rather than later. So today, Padres versus the Giants. Hopefully we have some good news on Michael King, an update on when his next bullpen will be, and then perhaps a rehab start, as well as Jackson Merrill. Thanks you guys so much for watching. I'm having one of those days. I need a lot more coffee. Need to go ahead and do my thing. Tomorrow we'll be joined by AJ Caswell. So if you have any questions, you can send them here on the chat, or to me on Twitter at Marty Caswell. Have a great day, guys. We are brought to you by the all-new Hummel Casino Resort, the Players Place. Thanks again to my guest, Jake Garegnani of local CBS Sports. We will talk to you tomorrow. Have a wonderful Monday. What do you think about the roster pitching staff in New York?
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, I was joking with my friends last night from back home. It's like, all you got to do is get to the 5th inning and possibly the 4th, and then just turn it over. But yeah, no, I mean, what the team has done at deadline has been incredible, really aggressive, and like I said, just happy to be part of this team. Happy to hopefully just be a stepping stone to get to the playoffs and hopefully win it all.
Test coming back. clean. I'm not really concerned with where the nerves are right now.
So you fully expect to pitch again?
Oh, wait. Oh, God, yeah. Clown question, bro.